Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it. Wow. Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it.
Happy Hump Day and welcome back to the Urban Girl Corporate World Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things winning at work. I'm your dopest hostess with the mostest, Nicole. So excited that you guys are back for another episode. I can't believe this is season 8 still. I know we're like halfway through the season, but yesterday, the Urban Girl Corporate World Podcast just turned 6 years old, and I'm just thrilled. I never knew how far this was going to go or what this is going to become. But Urban Girl Corporate World has just birthed so many opportunities, so many relationships, so many speaking engagements. It's just been a wonderful journey. So before I even get started with this episode, I just want to thank all of you for making that possible. All of the feedback, all of the emails, all the calls, all the shares. It is very much appreciated. We would not have been able to reach this milestone without all of our faithful listeners. And I know y'all are faithful because I don't even really promote the episodes and I'm still seeing the listenership continue. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Another thing that you guys may not know is that I've been executive coaching with IONS for a few years now. And you probably already know about my mentoring because I featured all of my mentees on last season 7 of the Urban Girl Corporate World Podcast. But a lot of the advice that I offer is typically things that I've gotten wrong, which is what this podcast was all rooted in. And a lot of my work is rooted in what I wish I knew then. But this season is focusing on FAQs. So these are questions that I get all the time from young professionals, from the executives that I coach, from my mentees. And so I wanted to make sure I had a place to point everyone when I get these questions. Okay. And we're trying to do these episodes in 15 to 20 minutes or less. And y'all know I love to talk. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but we are making it work. We are doing good this season and staying on track. Today's episode is going to be about landing promotions. This is probably one of the top questions that I get from both mentees and executive coaches is like, hey, how do I navigate to the next level? I'm ready to get promoted. I've been in this role for so long. I feel like I'm ready, but it's just not happening for me. Other people are getting chosen over me. You know, what am I doing wrong? And I will tell you a little bit about my journey to promotion. So it took me 6 years out of college to get my first promotion. I graduated 2004. Yes, I'm an auntie. And I didn't get my first promotion until 2010. The next promotion took me another 4 years. So I didn't get that until 2014. But after that, I have been getting promoted for a good stint, probably like somewhere between like 18 to 24 months. It was crazy. After that 4-year one, I ended up getting like 3 promotions in like 5 years. I had like finally cracked the code. And some of it has to do with your performance, but it's so much more than just your performance. One of the things I always tell people I work with is what good is doing great work if nobody knows about it, right? So for this episode, we're going to assume that your work performance is strong and then talk about what are the other factors of getting promoted that you need to incorporate into your repertoire. So first things first, nothing is kinder than clarity. You need to understand what that next level entails, right? Because a lot of times moving to the next level is not about you doing the job well. That is a skill, but oftentimes it may be expanding the duties of that job, or it may be leading a team of people who do that job and helping them do it well. Those are 2 very different skill sets. Now, what the next level looks like may be very different depending on what discipline you're in, right? And then what level you're in. So if you're thinking about like an analyst to senior analyst, or if you're an audit senior, you want to become an audit manager, or you're an engineer and you want to become a principal engineer, or you're moving up through the ladder in product management, right? That shift from either beginning level to mid-level or mid-level to senior level, those shifts look very, very different depending on seniority and the different types of organizations that you're in. So the first thing that I recommend is that if there's a job description for that next level, grab it and study it, okay? There's also the lens of what the job description says it is and what your leader believes it to be, or what they like that role to operate as within their organization. So after It's not one or the other. After you read the job description and understand what the next level is like, and this is something you can ask from your leader, you can ask your HR business partner, you can even look on your company website. If you Google your company name and that next level, even if there's not anything available, some job website has an archive that will showcase it to you. But you want to have a foundational understanding of what it looks like. But then you want to talk to your leader about what that looks like, right? And then you begin to have a very candid conversation. Hey, I see that this next level requires XYZ. I'm really interested in navigating towards that. How is this role helping this team? How do you see this role operating in this team and helping you unlock and achieve your goals as a leader? And then the next part of that conversation is, okay, where do the gaps exist between how I'm performing now and how the person that will take this role needs to perform? Or stated differently, what do you need to see from me? What haven't you seen from me that you need to see consistently in order for me to unlock this level of opportunity? Okay. I once had somebody in my network brag that they had never reached out to somebody for a promotion. It was always offered to them. And they thought that was a flex. And I can understand the ego side of it, but the reality is you have to own your career and you should not wait for anyone all the time to approach you with opportunities. Sure, it's going to happen, but no, you should be driving the car, right? That is your career. So I'll also say, don't rush to become defensive when they point out the gaps that they see, right? It may not be an indicator of your capability, but it may be an indicator of your lack of visibility, right? So if you find that your leader is saying that they need to see things that you're already doing, it's not that you're not doing it, it's that you're not making it visible. Okay. And so you need to figure out how to make sure that you're showcasing these capabilities with your leader and with your team. Now, if it's on the flip side and you find that there are these gaps that exist, but you don't necessarily see opportunities, right, within your project work to develop those skills or showcase those skills, that's something that you need to communicate with your leader, or if you're in, a consulting firm, whoever is responsible for scheduling you to different projects and assignments, right? And so that's something you have to be very clear with your leader about. If they give you, let's say they give you 5 things that they need to see, don't immediately jump to all 5 because you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get anxious. You're going to burn yourself out. We don't need that. We need you operating at prime performance and showing up with confidence. Okay. The way to do that is to ask your leader, okay, of these 5, right, which are the most important? Let's stack rank these in order of importance to least importance. And you want to focus on maybe the top 2, maybe the top 1, right? But whatever's in your capacity, you want to make sure you focus on those things. Yes, it can look like you taking training or, figuring out what these things mean. And the theory is nice, but the execution is so much better. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time to map out how you're going to showcase these skills in these projects. I also talk a lot about stretch assignments. If you find that there are no opportunities to do these, to showcase these tasks within the workload that you've been assigned, right? That's a great opportunity to think about pulling together a stretch assignment or leading a stretch assignment if you have the capacity and if you can find one that very much aligns with where the team is going. I'm going to do a separate episode on stretch assignments because it's worth the entire 15 minutes and you have to be very, very strategic in how you put them together, how you propose them, how you execute them. But just know, 1, try to find the opportunity to showcase those skills within your current project load. And then if you cannot, try to figure out how to get them through a strategically designed stretch assignment. All right. So first, get clarity on what that next level looks like. Get the job description, whether it be from the internet for your particular company, because many companies call different jobs the same thing, right? You want clarity and alignment for where you are. If you cannot find it online, get it from your HR business partner. They will not be surprised that you're asking for it. These job descriptions are no secret. Okay, study that. Then you want to talk to your leader, not only about what you've read, but really figuring out if that is a true indicator of what they see the next level delivering and how they see that operating within their ecosystem. Okay, because you can have 2 different managers on the team and they can want different things. I had one manager tell me in order to get promoted, I needed to be an expert on a particular topic or discipline. right? We had an organizational shift. I got a new manager. She didn't think I needed to be an expert, right? Imagine if I kept operating under the assumption that I needed to be an expert. I didn't. And I ended up that was one of my 18-month promotions, right? So getting clarity on that next level from a job description perspective and then from a leader perspective is going to be significantly important. And then the second thing is making sure you identify what they need to see from you to feel confident to move you into that role. So really identifying those gaps. And again, don't get caught up on, well, I already do that. Don't be defensive. The fact that you do it and they don't know that you do it is where the opportunity sits, right? So you have to think about not only how can I execute on this work, right? Whether it be through my current workload or stretch assignments, but how do I communicate? How do I showcase this work that I'm doing? And you can get very strategic. I typically tend to do it in one-on-ones with my manager. If you don't have one-on-one set up with your manager, that's probably something that you need to do, especially throughout this desire to get promotion process. And then during team meetings, right? Typically you have like a team sync or department monthly. Great opportunity to ask to be put on the agenda and showcase your team's project, XYZ. Right? A great way to showcase, here's what we're accomplishing as a team, and here are my contributions, right? Here are my learnings. Here's how I've collaborated across different teams, blah, blah, blah. You know what to say. You know what to do. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you continue to check in on status with your manager, right? So this can be accomplished in the one-on-ones. And maybe this is something that you're doing monthly, every other month, but at least quarterly, right? At least quarterly, you want to say, hey, I have this goal to get promoted. Here's what you told me you needed to see from that role. Here are the gaps that exist from my professional scorecard or profile. Here are the projects that I'm leading or contributing to build these skills in order of importance. And I just want to make sure that they're in alignment with what you think execution looks like. Tell me your thoughts, okay? Tell me your thoughts. Typically, I promise you guys, this has been like a foolproof way to navigate towards promotion. One thing I just do want to highlight, don't get caught up on, oh, that's not my job. I can guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, when working towards a promotion, a lot of times the people that are getting promoted are the people who are already doing the job. Not fair. We can argue that all day, but do you want to be right or do you want to be effective, right? I want to be effective because I'm ready to do what I need to do. So please, please, please don't get caught up on that. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and start doing 3 jobs at once. That's just not what we're talking about here. But we are talking about, it's debatable to say, oh, I can do this, right? But it's not debatable to say, I've already been doing this. And that's the language that you want to be able to communicate to your leadership throughout these check-ins, throughout these department syncs, right? You want to change the narrative when leaders are talking about you, when they're assigning you to projects. You'll be able to see some of that come through in those threads. So hopefully you found this information super valuable. Would love to hear your feedback on this. I actually have a LinkedIn learning course called Stand Out as a Power Performer that maps out in 30 minutes the entire detailed strategy that I've leveraged through power performance to unlock promotions, bigger opportunities. I'll make sure to drop the link in the show notes. But I so appreciate you guys coming back for another episode of Urban Girl Corporate World Shorts. I hope you found this episode on landing a promotion valuable. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe, and please share. All right? I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it. Girl, you got it. Wow.